YouTube, this is Sign18 coming with you with another deck profile. Today we're doing another premium deck profile, gearing up for Overdress. I see that online and over Japan and a lot in the West now. A lot of people are buying up a lot of premium cards, trying to get into premium, trying to dip their water into premium because they know that all the new Overdress cards are going to work mostly for premium when you want to get into those real in-depth type of plays. Now, I've been seeing on YouTube about a lot of Aquaforce deck profiles, but no one's mentioning Maelstrom, which Maelstrom is a very strong deck in standard. In my opinion, it's also a very strong deck in premium. And this is my variant. I have to say, I've won my fair share of local tournaments, and I think I got around to like 5th, 6th, or 7th round at a regionals with this deck one time. I got really up there, and it really holds the test. Really held stuff throughout the test of time. Now this deck is very easy to pilot. You really don't need too many cards. I'll be showing some variants of things like that if you want to go more towards the old generation of Maelstrom, the more blue storm units that could help this deck push this deck a lot further and a lot stronger, and some combo plays and some things like that. We'll be showing you that and a few options you can be using. But all in all, this deck is very fun to play and can be very oppressive to your opponent, putting them in a very tough spot that at the end of the day they just cannot guard against. And we'll get to that and we'll see why. But enough said of that. We're going to jump right into it. We're going to start with the grade 3s of the deck. We're going to zoom out here so you get a better layout look. So, of course, since this is a Maelstrom deck, we are playing 4 copies of Glory Maelstrom. If you don't know what he does by now, basically, during the act skill, once per turn, you can counterblast 1. Your opponent can only guard with 1 card for each one of your attacks, and they are not allowed to intercept. And if you have a card in your soul with Maelstrom in this card name, your entire front row gains plus 10k. So this is a massive guarder stick that can give a buff to your front row, allowing you to hit some very decent numbers and your opponent can't guard normally, which can win you some good games. The next grade 3, we're going to play 8 grade 3s in this deck, is the original Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom, which states, act, once per turn, counterblast 1, your entire front row gains 3k. Then if the 3rd or 4th battle of your turn hits your opponent's vanguard, you can discard 2 cards and stand this unit for another battle with no loss of dry checks. Now, if you guys play standard, you all know what this deck does in standard, how very strong it can be in turn 4 and onward. But the thing though, with premium, this pushes the limits to this to a whole nother level. And we'll get to there. Once we get to the strides, you'll see what I'm talking about. For grade 2s, we're going to play a very favorite grade 2 that was back in GR that belongs to Blue Storm units, which I'm kind of mad we never got a redo of it, but it would have been nice. This is Blue Storm Soldier Edamos. So Edamos has a very unique skill. As you see, he is a 10k unit. We're going to zoom back in here. Boom. Okay, we'll bring it down a bit. Doing a lot of that. So Edamos here is a 10k unit. Now you may be wondering why an Excel clan has a 10k unit. Well, back in the day, a lot of the boss units, which was known as a stride bearer, had these units towards the end of GR, which are 10k base units. So he has a auto skill. One place on Vanguard or Rearguard, reveal a Maelstrom from your hand. If you don't, he loses 5k. He loses 5k power, becomes a 5k base number. But if you can reveal a Maelstrom, he keeps his 10k base. But that's not really the point of this card and why it's important in this deck. His important skill is his next skill, which is act once per turn. Counterblast 1. Choose a card with Maelstrom in your drop zone and put it into your soul. This unit gains 4k and can attack from the back row. Yes, you heard right. He's a 14k back row attacker. But the skill of that putting a Maelstrom in his soul is what makes him such an important piece in his deck. And once I start showing you some tactics, you'll see why. So our next grade 2 we play is a V-Era card. We play 4 cards of Drifting Flow Fencer. So auto, Vanguard, Rearguard, one place. Check top 7 for a card with Maelstrom and add it to your hand. Rearguard skill auto. When it's the 4th or more battle, if you have a Vanguard Maelstrom in this card, and this unit gains 15k. So this is just another 24k beater, and a good way of searching out your Maelstroms. Now, this deck revolves around your Maelstroms. You need to get your Maelstroms in your hand as fast as possible, as many of them as possible. Now, the last grade 2 we play is we play 4 copies of Press Stream Dragon, which is act once per turn, counterblast 1, discard a card with Maelstrom in its card name to your hand, and your Vanguard with Maelstrom in its card name gains 10k plus 1 drive. Now, that fact that he discards a Maelstrom ties in right into Ettermoss's skill, which means you do Press Stream, discard the Maelstrom, do Ettermoss's skill, put the Maelstrom from the drop zone into the soul. Unity, they work together. Now there are other grade 2s that you can play, like your Maelstrom grade 2, which allows your on hits to hit. You could also play some old cards of Blue Storm, like Blue Storm Marine General Genis Ines. So simple skill: when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if it is the 3rd battle or more, draw a card. Now this skill is important for other cards that you could play. For example, when you play Lordly Maelstrom, this is what is Maelstrom known as Maelstrom Stride Bearer form. So Lordly Maelstrom says Vanguard skill auto: when a G unit with Maelstrom in its card name, the original Maelstrom in its card name, strides, you may pay the cost. Choose one of your Blue Storm units, and that unit can attack twice this turn. And then auto Rearguard, that Rearguard with Blue Storm in its card name that you call from your hand gets the ability to do basically gets a tidal assault effect. It can attack, but it does not lose any power, which is the most important. But if you're playing those, if you're playing the Maelstrom cards we got in VR that allow any on hit to happen, you can swing twice with Ines and draw 2. So that's another way you could go. Or another Blue Storm unit, which is back in the day, was Blue Storm Princess Athena, which Rearguard, when this unit attacks, if it's the first battle of the turn, and you have Maelstrom, have a unit Vanguard with Maelstrom's card name, she gains +2, making her a 9k. Then on wave 2nd time only, which is the 2nd battle, she gains another 2k, making herself an 11k unit on the 2nd battle. So back in the day, you can swing 11 and swing 9 with her. I'm going through Lordly's skill just to gain some extra power and some extra thresholds. This is just another way to do things. And then another option you could play is also Blue Storm Battle Princess Corellia. Now this card was the go-to card back in the day to allow you to find your Maelstroms back in the day. Her skill is auto. When placed, you can reveal a grade 3 card in your hand, discard it, search your deck for up to 1 card with Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom, the original Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom, and add it to your hand. This is the way for you to get your boss unit to your hand. Now, these are just options that you could play. Now, these are not what I would consider being the more unified version of the deck to allow you to do all your streamlined plays, but these are other cards that you could or might want to tech in just to see how the decks work for you. So from there, we're going to go into the meat of the deck, which is the grade 1s. The grade 1s are what really pushes this deck really far, and I'm going to explain to you why. So we play 1 Baragios. Now, you already know he's your grade 3 searcher. He just allows you to search top 3 for Maelstrom. You could switch him out for Corellia or any other grade 3 options and stuff like that. Next, we play 4 copies of Wheel Assault. Now, Wheel Assault is very important in this deck. You want him to be your ride target. You want him to be your grade 1 ride target. And the reason for that is his Vanguard auto effect. Is when another unit rides on top of him, you can counterblast 1, draw 1 card, and call any unit from your hand. When you do this, you want to call a Maelstrom. And I'm going to explain right away with the other grade 1. There is a combo with the grade 1s that allow you to get at least 1 to 2 Maelstroms in your soul before you reach grade 3. So the other grade 1 we play is a very old but very famous popular card. Flash Ripple Odysseus, sorry. Greek names. So, Odysseus is a Ripple card, a part of the Ripple engine, but we don't care about that. We only care about the first line of text of this card. It says, once returned, choose one of your other rear guards and put it into the soul. Period. That's all we care about. That one skill allows you to put a Maelstrom from your field into soul. So not only do you have a way to get it from your drop zone, now you have a way to get it off of your field. So you want to go Wheel Assault, call the Maelstrom Odysseus, put the Maelstrom into soul. That's already 1 Maelstrom on your grade 2 turn. Now the final piece of this is how do you get your Maelstroms to your hand? That's the big question. And the answer is Analyze Shooter. Now you could use a new Maelstrom check top 7 on hit grade 1, but this one to me is a lot better. It's when the attack it boosts, it hits a Vanguard, counter Soul Blast one, and discard a card from your hand. It could be a Maelstrom, which could tie you right back into an Ettermost play grade on grade 2. Remember that. Search your deck for up to 2 Maelstroms with different card names and add them to your hand. You're only playing 2 different Maelstroms. So you immediately get a Blue Storm and then a Glory to your hand. What more could you ask for? Now we're going to go right into the grade 0s. So now for the grade 0s, we're doing a massive G lineup. So we're going to go to our starter. We play 4 copies. Other than our starter, we play 4 copies of Direct Strike Brave Shooter. This is a Generation Break 1 critical trigger, which says when your Vanguard attacks, put this card into your soul, your Vanguard gains 10k, and you draw 1 card. So this is in soul plus 10, draw 1. Alongside that, we play another G variant card, which is Bubbler Shooter, which is our Stride fodder crit. So his skill is from hand. When you're paying a cost for a Stride, his grade goes up to 3. So if you don't already know, when you're paying a cost to go into a Stride, you must ditch cards from your hand whose sums equal 3 or more. Of course, we're playing the draw PGs. And then we're also playing the G-era heal triggers with effects. Now, her skill says when she is discarded for the effect of a G-Guardian, which we'll go into if you don't already know. If you have another heal in your drop zone, you can bind both heals and either counter charge or soul charge 1. Most likely, you're going to go for the counter charge. So that is the main deck. Now we're going to go into the Stride deck or the extra deck. So since this is a Maelstrom deck, we are going to be playing Maelstrom Strides. So this is Blue Storm Helica Dragon Disaster Maelstrom. So his skill is when he attacks, you can search your deck for up to 1 card with Maelstrom in his card name and add it to your hand. The cost of this is to flip a copy of himself face up. And then if there's a Maelstrom in your soul, your entire 3 cards in your front row gain plus 5k power. We really don't go into this card anymore. We use this card for flip fodder. And the next Stride unit you're gonna see why we use this card for flip fodder. So the other Maelstrom Stride, which is your game ending card. This is the card that you're doing all of these skills to get to and benefit from and win the game on your second Stride. So this is Blue Storm Breaking Dragon Engulf Maelstrom. This is your finishing card. This is what you want to end the game on, if possible. So his skill states constant. So constant skill on Vanguard Circle. The fourth battle only. When this unit attacks, and if you have 2 or more cards with Maelstrom in the card name face up in your G zone, Your opponent is not allowed to guard with cards from his or her hand for the number of Maelstroms in your soul -1. So, no, sorry, +1. So what this means is no, sorry, it is -1, sorry. So what this means is, for example, if I have one Maelstrom in my soul, your opponent is not allowed to guard with grade zeros. If I have two, they can't use 1 or zeros. If I have 3, no 2s. If I have 4, no 3s. And if I have 5 Maelstrom souls, they are not allowed to G-guard. This card literally says if you have 5 or more Maelstrom in your soul, your opponent cannot guard this attack. And you may say, okay, that's only 1 damage. He doesn't gain any power, but he has an axe skill. Once per turn, you can choose a card from your G zone, turn it face up, and if your heart card is Maelstrom, this unit gains plus 5k power and 1 critical. This card goes critical. So if you play right, you can push your opponent throughout the entire game to 3 to 4 damage, and by the time you go into this, they cannot guard you. You can literally just win the game flat out right there. And we're playing 8 crits. You're going to hit an extra crit, so that pushes them from 2 damage, which they could heal out of, to 3 damage, which is really impossible from the heal up from. So this is the card that allows you to win. Now you may be asking, okay, I see how you win, but how do you get there? So we play 1 copy of Blue Storm Dragon, Gimbal Steel Dragon. Now this is the, if I'm not mistaken, this is the 2020 Premium Collection stride for Aquaforce. So his skill is very good. So when he is placed, you can check the top 7 cards of your deck, call up to 2 cards from among them to rest, and then shuffle your deck. Then when he attacks, you can counterblast 1. For every 2 rested rearguards you have, you draw 1 card. Your opponent retires 1 card off their field for every draw that you do. If you drew 3 or more cards, choose 2 of your rearguards and stand them. This card just progresses your first stride. The problem with Aquaforce had back in the day, we did not have a good enough first stride. This solved all of Aquaforce problems, but mostly it solved all of Blue Storm's problems. Because we were really just going into disaster for our first stride. It was not doing really anything for us. That 5k buff wasn't really helping us. But this, we draw a massive amount of cards. So next few strides are just key, not key pieces. They're just tech options for quiche moments. So we play the 1 Blue Wave unit. Blue Wave Martial Dragon, Flood Hazard Dragon. Now, since we're not playing a Blue Wave deck, but the only skill that we worry about is his auto skill is when he attacks, he becomes a quad drive at Generation Break 3. Which means instead of doing a triple drive, we get a quadruple drive. But also remember, we do have cards like Press Stream Dragon, which can make that 4 drive checks into a 5 drive checks. We could make it into a 6 drive checks. So keep that in mind. There are ways to make this thing really, really stupidly awesome in your deck, especially because we're playing a Maelstrom deck. So yeah, we can have Blue Wave units too. Another tech option and another possible finisher is Progenitor Dragon of Deep Seas, Ballerina. So she has a very simple skill. When any of your units attack, you can discard 1 grade 1 or lower card, and if they guarded, remove that guardian, and it's as if it's never existed. So this forces your opponent to guard over time. For it can be as simple as a 14k swing to a 13k unit. They guard with a 5, drop a 0, the 5 goes away. Drop another 5, drop a 1, the guard goes away. This can be very annoying to your opponent when you're just attacking for small numbers, having them waste their hand. Then when you finally let that guard go, you can start swinging for your more heavier numbers, but they have no more cards in their hand to guard with. That is the niche play with this card, and that can really finish your opponent. But the bad side to this is that she does not build a board. So you already have to have an established board built when you go into her. Now you could be wondering why we don't play Megiddo in this deck. As of late, Megiddo doesn't play a real role in Aqua Force anymore. Back in the day it did, but we really don't need it anymore as a finisher. That's where we have Ballerina. But you could run a Megiddo. You could do some really amazing things with Megiddo. But you will have to change the deck up to suit that playstyle. So we're going to go right into the G Guardians. We play one copy of Blue Storm, Defense Dragon, Ice Barrier Dragon. So this card says on the first or fourth battle or more, if you guard, your shield gets plus 10k. So it's a very niche card. Aqua Force have very niche G Guardians to when they can G guard or when they like to G guard. So you have to be wary of when you do it and be very calculated about how you guard. Next, we play the one G Guardian that does not have this restriction. Guard Leader of Sky and Water, Ian Hannes. So Ian Hannes says that Generation Break 1, when plays, counterblast 1, flip up another G Guardian, choose up to 5 of your rear guards. He gains plus 5k shield for each one of those guardians and gives them the dismal effect. Now you may be wondering, what do I mean by dismal effect? It means that those units cannot be chosen nor attacked for the rest of that turn. So not only does he have massive shield power ingration, but he also protects your other units, allowing you to possibly go into the Ballerina turn. Oh, and to mention one thing about Ballerina, it's what's known as an ultimate stride. The only way to go into a Ballerina is that you have to discard the same name that's on your Vanguard circle. So, for example, if you have Blue Storm Dragon, you must discard a Blue Storm Dragon to go into Ballerina. Keep that in mind. Now, the last G Guardian we play is another niche one, which is Blue Wave Armor General Gophilia. Now, Gophilia is a very good card. Sometimes you will G-Guard with her not even being able to use her skill to gain extra shield value, but it doesn't matter. So, she has constant, if it's a second or third battle, she gains 5k to her, so becoming a 20k shield, equal to a V-era heal. But the skill that makes her shine most is her Axe skill. In G-Zone, you can Soul Blast one to turn her face down, which means she's already face up, put her back face down to be used again later. And then you're allowed to either unlock a card, which means for the new Chaos Breaker stuff, you can get your lock cards unlocked using her in premium. So remember that. And or turn up a unit in turn up a card face up in your damage zone. She counter charges for you. Yeah, this deck definitely doesn't have that many counter charges. So she is our one and only, besides the heal trigger, she is our one and only other counter charging unit. So, amazing card for doing that. So that's the entire deck. From main deck all the way to extra deck. So now what we're going to do now is that we're going to pan out. We're going to shuffle up. And then I'm going to show you some plays that you can do with this. So I'm going to pan out. I'm going to shuffle the deck. There's our starter. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Our G-Zone can sit right up here, face up, so we can see what we're going to be going into. Okay. And we're going to do some test hands. So, there's the deck. I need to put a card back. Alright, so now we're going to do some test hands. So that's the first. Second, ooh, that's good. Third, that's really good. Fourth, that's amazing. Fifth, that's amazing. So, of course, the draw trigger is going back. And what do we get? Oh, that's amazing. That's exactly what we want to see for an opening hand. And then it all depends on where we go with our next card. Now, what would be considered the nuts is having all the those 3 grade 1s I told you about. That way you can go into that early play, but it's really hard to get it. And like, you can't really manipulate the deck to actually pull that off. But when you do get it, it's amazing. So now we're going to draw for turn. So now we're going to ride and draw. Check top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. But if we did get it, we can, since we already have an optimal amount of Maelstroms in our hand, we would have been able to drop another Maelstrom to have that Maelstrom in the drop, so ready for Ettermost to put it into the soul. So that's another way you can get around with it. That's why we have Brogios in the deck. So now our Vanguard gets attacked. That's 1 damage. We draw. Now we're going to go into Ettermost. Skill. Reveal a Maelstrom to you. He keeps his 10k. Can't really do much more than that. So we're going to swing for 10. Check. Draw. Perfect. Get another card in hand. Skill. Take damage. Draw trigger again. Perfect. See, now our hand's just building up. Now he's a 20k unit. Most cards wouldn't be able to touch him. Restand. Draw. Ooh, this is going to be really good. So it really doesn't matter which Maelstrom you start off with. So we're going to start off with Glory Maelstrom. We're going to go Excel 2 for this deck. Just to keep gaining that extra hand advantage. So now we draw. Really good. So next we're going to go into Flow Fencer. Check top 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We already got that Maelstrom. We add it to the hand. All other cards back. So as you can see, as we progress, we already got 3 to 4 Maelstroms in our hand. So what would be the next logical play? Get those Maelstroms into the soul as fast as we possibly can. And this is how we're going to do it. We go Press Stream. We activate Press Stream skill, which is now Counterblast 1, discard a Maelstrom, 10k and 1 extra drop to the Vanguard circle. We now play Odysseus. We now play Ettermost in the back row. Ettermost sees the Vanguard being a Maelstrom, so he keeps his 10k. Now we're going to activate Ettermost's skill, Counterblast 1. Throw this into the soul. Now Ettermost gains 4k and can attack from the back row. Now we're also going to play one more Maelstrom in the back row, activating Odysseus skill to suck that Maelstrom into the soul. Because we're missing his target skill for the rest of his skill, because we're not playing a Ripple deck, we must shuffle the deck to be fair. Now, if we had an extra damage, we could have gone into the Glory Maelstrom playstyle, which is Counterblast 1, give the front row plus 10k, and only a guard with one or more. But this is the beginning of the game, so we really don't care to be going into that. But if you did, it'd be very nice. Another way to lock your opponent down, forcing them to do what you want. So from here on out, we will just basically go swing with the Vanguard for 22, triple drive. First check, heal trigger, we will heal 1, give all effects to Odysseus. Third check, right? Boom. Then we would go 13, 14, 12, 24, turn, take some more damage. You might lose Storm, might lose Steam Press, take a few more damage, critical trigger, right? Now it's our stride turn. We're going to stand, draw. Now we're going to go, now we could ride again since we have so many Maelstroms. And also by riding, you're putting another Maelstrom into the soul. So that's very important. You want to ride in this deck as much as possible. That's another Excel. Draw again. Now we're going to Generation Stride with the crit. Then we're going to go into Genbull Dragon. Genbull says check top 7. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. Choose 2 of them, call them as rest. So we're going to choose the critical trigger. And we're going to choose a steam press. Boom. Perfect cards to go. So then at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to switch Odysseus and Edermos. Because you want to play optimally. Call a Maelstrom, Odysseus skill into Soul. Shuffle again. And then you got 2 more spots to fill. So we're going to go critical trigger. And then we're going to go Edermos. Keeps his 10k because the Vanguard is Maelstrom. Right? So then you just go for your basic swings. 1, 2, 3. Right? Then we go 4. Activating skill. Counterblast 1. Turn a card face up in your G zone. Now remember, the card that you want to turn up are the Blue Storm Disaster Dragons. So turn that face up. Since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, we draw 3 cards. Your opponent loses 3 cards. We stand 2 of our units. Right? And then, due to the critical trigger skills, because we attacked with the Vanguard, into Soul, plus 20, draw another 2 cards. So we just plussed 5 cards before we even went into our drive trigger checks. So now triple drive, first check, second check, third check. We just plussed 8 cards, right? Now we attack again, and we attack again. Now, we have all of this hand to survive next turn with. Right? There's no way that they're going to break. There's no way they can get through your hand. So let's say you guard. You take another damage. Oh, there's a heal. We heal 1. It's a Maelstrom. Then we go into our next turn. Now, this is where you are aiming to end the game. You draw for turn. Like I said before, you ride again, because it puts another Maelstrom into the Soul. You gain another Excel, draw. Then you Generation Stride. This time you go into breaking. Now, we are here to end the game. So call. Use Odysseus' skill. Throw a Maelstrom into the Soul. Shuffle the deck. Right? Let's call a Wheel Assault. Now, we're going to use this skill. Counterblast 1. Put it into Soul. Boom. Now, if you had another Maelstrom in your hand, you could use Press Room skill to give the Vanguard plus another 10k and an extra drive if you really wanted to. But then we're going to use Breaking skill. Flip over a card face up your G zone. You want to flip the Maelstrom. That way now you have 2 face-up card Maelstroms in your G zone. This is very important. That turns on his other skill. Then you want to proceed with turn, with your battle phase. You want to go 1, 2, 3, right? That's 13, 15, 15. Now you want to go into your Vanguard swing. So a swing, skill of the trigger into Soul plus 10k. We draw 1. Now, here's when you count how many Maelstroms you have in your Soul. So now that's 1 Maelstrom, so no grade 0s. 2, no grade 1s. 3, no grade 2s. 4, no grade 3s. And 5, no G Guardians. So now your opponent is not allowed to guard this attack. This attack is now swinging for 27, 37, 37, 42, 2 damage, and your opponent is not allowed to guard. Now we're going to go into our triple drive, which is 1, 2, critical trigger, critical power. That's 3 damage now. Heal trigger, power over here, we don't heal. So now your opponent has to take 3 damage in the face. And now you also have a souped up flow fencer waiting just in case if he does magically heal out of this. This deck is so powerful that it literally puts your opponent into a corner that says, you can't guard. By stride 2. And all you're doing between the first ride to breaking is just collecting volume. That's all you're doing. It's just collecting cards in your hand to guard with to progress your gameplay or reestablish your board if somehow they get rid of it. That is so consistent, it's not even funny. So if you liked what you saw, if you have any questions, if you want to know how you could build the complete Blue Storm variant, please let me know down below. I'll be glad to do a video on that. But if you liked what you saw, please leave a like down below. Please comment. Share this video. Share with your friends, things like that. I honestly believe that Maelstrom does not get the recognition that it deserves in both formats. Because he is a very amazing Vanguard. Not even to say the least. He deserves so much more praise than what he gets. Honestly, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, I think he's a lot better than in standard. I think he's a lot better than Revan. He's a lot more consistent to me in Revan. Valios is good now, but I think Maelstrom does kind of outplays Valios a little bit because of his hand, because of the hand size you could get. But in premium, I honestly believe that Maelstrom is better than Thavis and the blue wave stuff that you could use in premium. It just has so much flexibility and playstyle and versatility, and then because of breaking and because of all the new cards we got in VR, which makes it so much easier to get the Maelstroms to your hand, that is super ridiculous by how fast you can build up the Maelstroms in your soul. It's crazy. By the time you slap down breaking, your opponent knows, oh no, I lost the game. That's amazing in just playing the card. That your opponent knows there's no way he's getting out of this. But I've been rambling on. I've been playing devil's advocate for long enough. Like I said, like the video, comment down below, hit that bell icon so you can know whenever I post any more, put up any new videos and things like that. Share this video, get the word out. Because Overdress is coming out, I know a lot of players are looking forward to the stuff, but they don't know if they're going to be even interested in playing Vanguard. Get them playing some budget decks in VR to see, so they know how to play the game already by the time Overdress comes out. That way they're not going in fresh and without any knowledge of the game. So you don't have to get them the most fantastic deck. You can just get them a very competitive budget deck that can play very well, so they can get addicted to the game and love it when Overdress comes into town. So, this is Sign saying, as always, see you later.